After watching this video, you will probably gain some optimism, because think about it like this: when you know what you need to expect to come, and you expect it to come, and it is a positive thing, you go and you put in the work that gets you that positive thing more. And the thing about getting jacked is that this journey can be pretty discouraging. I won't sit here and lie. Sometimes we feel extremely demotivated because after going to the gym, we look in the mirror and see no progress. That sometimes happens, especially when you are fat and you don't get like the juicy pump, or even skinny guys for sure. The thing about it is that when you know that science and people's experience proves that you can get jacked, and how much time it takes and how much progress you should expect, you get some optimism because you know what will come. The thing about getting jacked is that you can get there in a year. Now, not exactly a year, because there is a degree of genetic variation and people's variation and knowledge variation. All of these things play a pretty big role in getting you jacked, but if you tick the few important boxes off, getting jacked will probably be inevitable, unless your genetics are so damn fucked to a point in which you just can't get there, which is almost impossible, and you will never know if you will never try. So, in this video, I will try to answer the questions of how much time does it take, how hard it is, and how to do it. So let's go over the first one. For me to explain it, I will need to go over two concepts. The first one is the concept of newbie gains, and the second one is the concept of losing body fat percentage. The thing about the newbie gains is that you will get them if you will do a few things correctly. Because when you don't do these things correctly, you don't make the newbie gains. It's as simple as that. And these things are, so they are basically two: intensity and technique. That's when it comes to training, right? You will still need to sleep, to eat enough foods, and eat enough protein to supply your body with enough fuel to build muscle. If you supply your body with enough fuel, if you sleep more than 6 hours every night, you will see most of the newbie gains, and only if you will train pretty intensely with a good technique. The technique box is basically so you target the desired muscle, and you target it in a way that induces more hypertrophy and reduces the risk of injury, because when you get injured, you stop to train and you reverse and you go back all the way to the start line. And then intensity, training with a good proximity to failure is probably the most important thing that you can do for hypertrophy. Now, I could sit here and reference a bunch of studies that say that it is true, and I can also show you some bodybuilders from back in the day when there was not a lot of scientific literature or anything like that. People were still jacked because they trained intensely. You can see Arnold training, you can see Mike Mentzer, people like that. They all tick this box off. Those who didn't tick this box off, those who didn't train with a good proximity to failure, they were not jacked. If you don't train with a proximity to failure that is lower than 5 reps, you will not get jacked, probably, and if you will, at the beginning you will see gains for sure. You will not fulfill the potential that you have when it comes to your newbie gains, when it comes to building muscle, to its fullest extent. For you to build the most muscle, you need to train with a proximity to failure of between 5 to 1. You can go to complete failure, but at the beginning is not necessary. And with it, you can still gain muscle with less than a proximity of 5 for sure. It will just occur in the beginning, first 6 months. Afterwards, you will probably not see a lot of additional gains, and during this period of the newbie gains, you will gain suboptimal results. Now, of course, you should prioritize technique at the beginning more than intensity, because you don't want to get injured, you want to target the right muscles. So for the first month, I would really suggest that you just focus on training the technique muscle, the habits, training your mind to perform the exercises in the right way, because once you build these habits, you habitualize these actions, and then doing them becomes almost effortless. And by training consistently with a pretty good intensity, with a good technique, with a pretty decent training plan, which I will put in the description, you will build a lot of muscle. And then the body fat percentage. Building muscle is harder than losing fat. Losing fat takes less time than building muscle. How much time less? So let's say that you want to lose around 10% body fat. It would take, on average for most people, if they diet like and lose 1 to 2 pounds per week, around 3 to 4 and maximum 5 months. That's the time frame. And After training for 6 to 9 months without really losing weight, you will build a lot of muscle, and then you can go and cut for 3 months. That's basically a plan of action that I think that can really benefit you and give you a crazy body transformation in only a year. Now, I wanted to take everything that I say with a grain of salt because I have just came up with these ideas. They are pretty accurate, they are built on science. I found a reference some studies that say that what I say is pretty much true. But the thing about these things is that there is a degree of genetic and individual variation. So your genetics might be ones that will distribute the muscle gain throughout the newbie phase different than mine. It might be like that because of the degree of genetic variation. I just don't know, right? Science don't know everything because every human is different. The rate of muscle building of yours is different than mine. You can maximize your own rate, but you can't get to mine if we both maximize our rate, because it would be different just through genetic variation. So how much time will it take? On average, I genuinely think that the average man can see a body transformation pretty insane in 1 year. It's not a lot of time. When you think about it like this, you can go from being a fat guy to being jacked, like pretty jacked, in 1 year. And after that year, as long as you will go and continue to train for 3-4 times per week, as long as you will keep a decent diet and maintain this body weight for the rest of your life, basically, you will gain the massive benefit of having a jacked body. People will probably respect you more because they will see the hard work that you put. You will also be healthier, you will live longer, and all of these benefits are amazing. And they are all supported by science, right? So that's when it comes to the time frame. Now, how hard it would be. So you are now a beginner. Building the habits is the hardest part. The first 6 months is the hardest part. So think about you brushing your teeth, right? It's not hard. You do it out of a habit. You are just used to doing it. But imagine a guy who has never done it go and trying to do it. It would be harder for him. He wouldn't want to just stand and do that fucking weird movement to brush his teeth, right? He had never done it. He has never done it. Just for the sake of representation. So for a guy who has never trained, training is harder than brushing your teeth for sure. It is also more painful. It's hard. At the beginning it would be hard. For the first month and 3 and 4, it would be pretty damn hard. You will need to get used to it. But once you are used to it, I can pretty much guarantee to you that it will become a lot easier. The thing about it is that you need to integrate fitness as part of your life. You need to make it part of who you are and what you do. You are a fit person from now on. You are a guy who trains from now on, because by doing it, by not leaving the option of giving up, of stopping to train, you will not stop training, and through not stopping to train, you will one day get used to training, start to love training to some extent, not to the fullest extent, some people are different. You will at the very least be able to endure it 3 times per fucking week, and you will do it. So that's the mindset that I needed to have. I will never stop training, because that's just a better mindset. That the mindset of, I'm doing it for a short period of time and then I will stop, because that mindset brings regression from the results. And that's basically it. If you enjoy these daily videos, you can show some support by liking and subscribing, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.